I'm Helen Johnson, and I'm an addict. I learned my addiction from my parents at a very young age, and I had 3 children by the time I was 21. I remember the exact turning point. I went to take my oldest daughter, Jessa, to put her on the bus. And on the walk down to the bus, I made all kinds of rationalizations. Well, you know, they don't have seat belts, so she's not going to be safe. But it ultimately came down to the question is, are you going to be here every day when she gets off the bus? And I couldn't answer that question with a yes. So we went back up to the house and we put the kids in the car and I took them to their dad's house. And I left. So I just went and simply said, you're better parents than I am. And I don't want to be the one that takes the innocence from their eyes. So that was my turning point. I spent a good 15 years in addiction, in and out of towns. I came to Reno to be with my sister and her family, searching. I was searching for something different. I was tired of being an addict. I was really tired of it. I went to my sister's house out in Spanish Springs, had a couple beers, smoked some weed. They wanted to go somewhere, so we left. I was driving her car and got pulled over. So, went to jail, first day here. So they gave me drug court. And little did I know drug court was the best thing that ever happened to me. And it was because I made that choice that I wanted it to be the best thing that ever happened to me. They had these lists of options on the wall of what you could do with your life, and going to school was one of them. And I was like, well, I wonder if I could go to school.
When I met Helen and reviewed the information that she had given me and her background, she had a specific goal and she wanted to go to school. And like she said, I definitely gave her a list of things to accomplish to ensure that she was motivated and to ensure that indeed that this is going to be a path that she was able to be successful at, because that is one of our duties or our roles. At the time, she brought back all of her assignments, all well done. We moved her into plan. At that time, whenever we move people into plan and they start their services, we do a lot of monitoring. And usually, they are to touch base with us for at least every 3 months. And Helen was extraordinary at making sure that she scheduled her appointment, making sure that she made it there on time, making sure that she brought everything that was absolutely necessary.
So I was going to school. I was working 2 jobs. I was working at Red Robin and the financial aid office at TMCC and drug court, and I rode the bus for 2.5 years until I graduated. I discovered some really unique talents in myself that, number one, when I try really hard, things change. And change is amazing. And number two, that there are people that care. And, you know, just the little things that people say along the way is what helps you get through what's tough.
At times, Helen would come into the office kind of discombobulated, kind of freaking out a little bit. As you heard, she had lots on her plate at that time during her life. And we would sit and we would discuss, and I would give her guidance. That is one of the things that we do. We give counsel and guidance and refer her to different places so she can get that support. She was one of those clients that didn't have to worry too much, because after a while you get a sense that an individual is going to follow through and the individual is going to be successful. 2011, I do believe, is one of the days that she was able to come into my office and say, look, I got it.
I thought in my mind that if I left in my addiction, that none of my children would be affected by addiction, and that's not true. My leaving is probably a product of why my daughter ended up being an addict as well. My youngest daughter was out on the streets. She was using, and she wasn't just using meth, she was using everything. And the saddest part about that is that she had a young daughter herself. And so she was doing the same thing to her daughter that I had done to her. And after being out on the street for a couple years, she walked by Walmart one day and there was a woman at the well. They had a table out there and she stopped by and picked up a pamphlet and she checked in the next day. And she stayed there for 18 months. During the time that she checked into rehab, a girl was giving her testimony saying, my mom has never been there my whole life, but now we reconnected and now I understand, being an addict myself, what happened. And Lacey said that that was her moment when she said, aha, now I understand what maybe my mom was going through, because now I feel the same exact way that she did. So then she reached out to me through the program and said that she, you know, it took a lot of time and baby steps, but she said that we would, she wanted to reconnect. So I went to Tennessee on December 26th of 2013. And I reunited with my children after 18 years of not being able to see them. And it was 18 years to the day.
We're only counselors. We don't make changes in people's lives. The people make their own changes. We're just there to help guide, to help assist, to be that support.
My aim is to get a bachelor's in educational leadership and continue my work here at TMCC.
That's what we're here to do, is really help people strive and get to the point in their lives that they are productive individuals and feel good about themselves and give back to others.